Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today let's just get into it because I got things to do. But I wanted to follow up and have a more focused conversation about the Bears not last night's, but yesterday's game, but just in general, because we got a lot of the what they say, the natives are restless. We got a lot of chirping going on, a lot of fans that think they want to pop their stuff, and that's cool, because I'm coming in strong right now, and we just gonna get to the bare facts like we always do every single time. First of all, let me just repeat for people that are still having a hard time understanding what I'm saying. You live in a world of narratives, and that's fine. If that's what you choose to do, that's cool. That's got nothing to do with me and how I see the game, how I analyze the game. If you want to read Twitter and get your opinion from there, if you want to repeat what you heard on ESPN or you heard from Dan Orlovsky, okay, cool. That's fine. Once again, live your life. This is not the place for you, and that's perfectly fine, because that's not how football is. That's not how I approach it. I live in a world of actual football and actual film. I don't know, crazy idea, but what you see on film kind of, might be a little important to how you analyze a game. Last time I checked, I've never talked to a coach on any level. I never came into the coach's room after a game and said, let me turn on ESPN or watch Twitter so they can tell, or look at Twitter so they can tell me what happened in the game. I don't know. We kind of watch film and break it down from there. That's I don't know. That's a little weird thing we do as coaches. But anyway, so this is where I'm coming from with that. As far as the Eberflus thing, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time rebuttaling anything, because as I've said, people have made it very clear they're in confirmation bias mode. You want them going for whatever reason, accurate or not. That's cool. That's what you want. So everything you see, you're going to somehow try to blame Eberflus for it. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Once again, the people that matter, really the owner, but the people making decisions, you would hope, and the best ones do, but you would hope that they have the maturity to block out these conversations and actually stick with what's happening in the building. Now, as we've come to find out in this age of social media, there's a lot of owners that don't have that maturity, and they act just like fans. Apparently, we got owners out here literally listening to what people are saying on Twitter and making decisions based off that. Shout out to the New York Jets. Now, of course, in Bears land, everything we do is the worst. Everything's the worst. Yeah, okay. There are some owners out there that would like to have a word with you. There are some head coaches out there that would like to have a word with you. There are some offensive lines out there that would like to have a word with you. But anyway, all I'm going to say is, for those people, let me know your narrative. Let me know which narrative we're sticking with, because that's my biggest issue. Y'all like to bounce back and forth all the time. Depending on how somebody's doing, y'all like to bounce back and forth all the time. And so I just need you to tell me the narrative, stick with the narrative, and I guarantee you I can watch within the next 3 weeks your narrative get proven wrong multiple times. Go ahead, because everybody has the answer. So come check in and tell me about Bryce Young. Check in and tell me about how Bryce Young's doing now. They didn't fire Canales, so is he doing his job now? Was he not able to do his job before? I don't know. Talk to me about CJ Stroud. He was elite, top 5 quarterback, could do nothing wrong. Oh, well, talk to me now. Wait, so does he not know how to play quarterback? Or, oh no, D'Amico Ryans has such a great relationship. Oh, so now we got to fire D'Amico Ryans? Bobby Slowick was the next great head coach. Does he not know how to coach now? Which one is it? Please let me know the narrative. Sam Darnold. The Niners. Shanahan and these weapons, and I know they were missing a lot of people, but Shanahan to make every quarterback look great. But Brock Purdy was out. They sure didn't look good to me yesterday. So what narrative we going with? Oh, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive genius. Oh, but now look at that offense. Does he not know how to coach? Is he no longer offensive genius? I still see people saying, well, we should get Cliff. He's a guru. Tell me what's happening with that offense. Oh, I guess Dan Quinn is now the problem, so we should fire him. Jaden Daniels. We all know that conversation. So what you think about him now? I'm just asking. Brandon Staley. Oh my God, this coach is terrible. He goes for it on fourth down all the time. What is Dan Campbell doing in Detroit? What did he do in the NFC Championship last year? So again, tell me what the narrative is, and I guarantee you we can sit back over the next 3 weeks, probably the next 2 weeks, and we'll see your narrative get proven wrong. I don't know. It's kind of crazy that instead of narratives, I kind of live in the world of football where it actually is a team sport. I don't know. Where when you have 100+ plays, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And then it's not just one person. It's a collaborative effort. And where players make bad plays sometimes. Sometimes the team on the other side makes a good play. I don't know, man. That's my crazy world of football that I grew up in. And so, again, for those people that live in narratives, I'm going to have 10 examples that disprove what you're saying almost every single time. Same thing like last week. Why would you kick a 47-yard field goal? But we made a field goal a longer distance earlier. And we made a kick after. So by that logic, we should never have kicked anything 47 yards. That's because, our kicker's trajectory is so low. Everybody knows that. Shut up. the play, I don't know. Again, I don't know. Maybe you watched the play. And the difference is one, in the first kick, again, longer than 47 yards, your snapper didn't buckle over and have people run him over. But in the one that got blocked, he did. And then guess what? Blocked again, twice. So maybe it wasn't the moment. Maybe it wasn't that scheme that they had that was so great. Maybe it wasn't like, oh my God, we shouldn't go for it right here. I don't know. Maybe it's when things aren't executed, that's what happens. Oh, we got my guy, like Robert Saleh is so terrible. We got to give him, he's the problem. How's that looking? Oh no, it's the I don't even remember his name. It's the offensive coordinator. They're best friends and they don't know offense. How's that looking? Oh my God, Thomas Brown is so great. Thomas Brown just completely changed Caleb Williams. He fixed Caleb Williams. The offense is so different. Oh, on film, it doesn't look different. Oh, no, it is. It's so different. So did Eberflus take over play calling in overtime? Did I miss that? Because I look at those plays and a couple other ones during the game, pretty bad. Some of them play calls, pretty bad. Some of them route combinations, pretty bad. Same exact ones we were running before. And so, well, no, but it's Eberflus' fault now. Even though those plays were bad, it's somehow Eberflus' fault. But when it goes well, was it? Eberflus didn't help Caleb. No, Thomas Brown helped Caleb. He's so much better. Oh my God. But when it's bad, it's Eberflus' fault. Why'd he let him do that? Confirmation bias. So anyway, what I actually think about the team in football terms and not narratives, one thing has come to become a little more clear for me. I think, and I said this yesterday, and I didn't really get a chance to expound on it, so people were, going crazy. But I do think Keenan Allen and DJ Moore should go number one, or I should say keeping Rome Odunze number one because of the capital that you invested in them. And I do think, obviously, he has great talent. He's shown that he can be, I think, a top tier type receiver. But number two, because I think he fits what should be the offense going forward. Because, and I say all this to start off because we I think it's clear to me that we don't have the right philosophy for Caleb. And I would have been guilty of it too, to a certain extent, because of what you thought Caleb could be coming out. And look, as I said plenty of times before, it is perfectly fine that Caleb isn't at that point. Like, he is a rookie. And again, I really, it doesn't matter that the rest of the league and these owners and sports media told you it's okay to expect something out of a rookie or expect whatever. It doesn't matter that they say it's okay. It doesn't make it true. So absolutely not. I don't care if he was playing. What did I say? What did I say before you saw CJ Stroud and what everybody's talking about right now with him this year? Before Jaden Daniels' performance fell off this year, what did I say the entire time? It doesn't matter if he was playing excellent. You still don't know what you have yet. It takes time. It takes some players a lot of time. And so for Caleb to come in and not jump off to the start that many people might have expected, that's not the time to hit the panic button. That doesn't mean that the world is falling. That's okay. Once again, like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand. Like, we're not talking about a running back. We're talking about a quarterback. Quarterbacks are playing the 40 now. If Caleb was to play the 40, what is this 10-9 games, or even before when people was going, saying the world was falling? It was like, 9 games when they fired Waldron? What is those 9 games out of a 15-year career? Like, you really going to base Caleb's career at 40 off 9 games, or are you going to look at what happens over time? And so people got to understand that trajectory. They got to understand that things change. The context matters. The team around you matters, all that. Now, for a coach, for a GM, I know it's your job. It might be the world is falling. But as a fan, the one good thing is that we don't get fired. So we get to continue to be fans. So for everyone panicking over Caleb, it's just silly to me. It like I said, it doesn't really matter to me what he does over the rest of the season. It's his rookie year. I mean, we got come on now. I just gave you too many examples. We got quarterbacks that started off looking great, never recovered. We got guys that looked horrible, turned their career around. Guys that looked good, fell off, came back. It's a long career. We're not about to sit here and make a judgment on Caleb in his rookie season. And if you are, then you just bad at being able to build a team. You bad at managing a team if you panicking and making decisions like that. So all that to say that I think my original thought was that I think the philosophy we had with Caleb it doesn't fit where he's at. And of course, a lot of people will say to run versus pass, which is fine. That's a very simplistic thing to look at. There's more that goes into it than that. But in general, yes, you probably do want to be more run than you are pass at this point. But then I just think the passing concepts and what we have, it doesn't fit. Caleb, at his core, what I'm saying is Caleb needs separation, especially at this point in his career. And yes, you could say separation helps any quarterback. Not necessarily, because not everybody can still see the field, but Caleb needs that separation. And part of that is what I've been saying all seasons, playing more horizontal, and we still don't do that as well as I think we could or should. But hey, playing horizontal just gives you a little bit more of an open window, and so that helps. But the other thing is you need speed. So you think about Keenan Allen, who never was a burner, but at this point in his age, you can definitely see he's an older receiver. And this is a guy that is a route runner, but still at the same time, again, he's kind of lost the step a little bit. Then you got DJ Moore, who's an explosive runner with the ball, not so much down the field, and also never been a route runner. Romo Dunze, a route runner by trade out of college, and obviously as a rookie he'll get better, but still just not a speedster. And so what happens is when those guys are out there majority of the time, then you got most tight ends are not getting a ton of separation. And so you got Kmet out there who is not a route runner. What happens is, again, and I said this all season, this ain't new, this hasn't changed with Thomas Brown. People will collide and just play, they'll collide and play down, top down on our offense. And that's what they do all season. And so you won't get a ton of separation. Now, you look at the plays. So there was 32 completions. I pulled up the film, and there were only 6 completions that were more than 10 air yards. And so we're not talking about catch out the run. We're talking about air yards. And so that means, what that tells me, even if I didn't watch the game, but I did, that tells me that majority of what we were doing was essentially quick game dink and dunk. Now you look at Caleb's yards and all that, and again, I watched the game, that would tell you, okay, this is yak yards. And that's what it was. We ran, the last play we ran was when it was 3rd and 26. We ran a receiver screen to DJ Moore. That was the play that was supposed to pick up 26 yards. And as I commented on it during the game in the community, we ran a receiver screen like 5 times in one drive. Probably was like 10 times over the course of the game. And so a lot of get the ball out to the athletes quick, let them do their thing. And then outside of that, just a lot of dinking and dunking. And again, that's one way to attack it. The run game, marrying with that is obviously going to help you. But when you're not getting that, then you get in these plays where we're going vertical. And by vertical, I mean an actual vertical down the field, or like a curl route or something like that, a stop route. Again, just up and down. And it's the same thing Orlovsky was talking about the Cowboys, ironically. But once you get plays like that, or even square out plays, which isn't a real horizontal, that's a perimeter play, there's no separation. There's no separation because nobody's scared of them running past them. So again, they're going to collide and plaster, and there's no separation. And so that sack that everybody's crying about, first of all, that sack that everybody's crying about in overtime, go look at that play. And I've gave film. I'm gonna watch the film since everybody's so smart. Y'all got it. It's out there. Go watch that play and you tell me if that's on Caleb or if that's on something else. But anyway, so because of that, once again, that's just how teams played us. Darn near every team since Houston has played us the exact same way, and it works. And that's why Caleb scrambling against man coverage has been so prolific, because teams have been playing that against us because they know that we cannot get separation. And so it's no different to me than Kansas City last year and somewhat this year. Last year when you had was Juju there last year or the year before? I can't remember. But you know, you got Travis Kelce is probably one of the better route runners at tight end. Hurt, older, doesn't have the same juice. Then you just kind of got so-so guys everywhere else. Rashee Rice, he did a good job getting the ball, but you just didn't have a ton of separation. and it made the passing game so much harder for Mahomes. And now this year, so what did they do? They went and got Hollywood Brown, doubled down, and got Xavier Worthy. Now, the thing is, obviously, Hollywood Brown never got to play, but Xavier Worthy, a lot of speed, not really a receiver. So you get D-Hop, you lose Rice, who was your explosive part. You got D-Hop, who, again, older, contested catch, cool, not route nobody up, not a ton of separation. He separated top of the route. Same thing with Kelsey. Same thing with some of these other bigger body guys. And then Xavier Worthy, just not a great receiver. Didn't really get a lot of separation in college, to be honest. And so he's learning. I shouldn't say great receiver. He's a young receiver. He's still learning. So they're still kind of having those struggles, but the thought process is the same that I have with us. You got to get some speed. You got to be able to clear some stuff out. And look, sometimes, and especially when you learn to read coverage, you attack downfield, you make those plays. But a lot of times you need to be able to just take the top off of defense so that you can clear things out underneath. DJ Moore's not giving you that. Keenan Allen, we know, more than likely a 1-year rental. So at the price, we're definitely not going to keep him long term. But even if he wanted to come back, I would probably move off him. And I know we just paid DJ Moore, but that's not the receiver for us. I think, again, because of the age and the resources, you take a Rome Odunze and you build a roster where he can be the slot and really work the middle of the field, occasionally going downfield. He'll be more than serviceable. Excuse me. But the rest of the guys, we gotta go out and get some speed. And that's not to say, again, we need to throw the ball 50 times a game, but I'm saying when we do throw, play action and otherwise, we got to have guys that can stretch the field a little bit. Because I'm telling you, you heard Mel Kiper crying about cover 2. Oh, cover 2 should be illegal. Every team wants to have a 2-shell play top down. That's the easiest for them to do. And so when you get a team like us, where you know all you have to do is collide and plaster, and there's not going to be a lot of separation, you don't even have to necessarily play a cover 2. You could play a cover 3 or cover 1 like everybody's been playing against us. And so that's one of the defense wants to do that, because then could you imagine, if y'all haven't understood enough football listening to me yet, could you imagine if I could have a cover 1, cover everything you're doing, and have that extra safety down in the box to play the run? Makes it very hard on the offense, and that's what everybody's been doing to us. And so the natural evolution, Caleb has developed that counter. But again, it's nothing against DJ. I don't like his attitude, to be honest with you. But that's not really where it's coming from. It's just really philosophy-wise. I think we got to change that. So Shane Waldron coming in. Again, not like I sat here and watched Seattle a ton to know all the intricacies, but there's an idea of Seattle's identity that I thought he was bringing, and he didn't. And it was definitely not a good match for what Caleb ended up being. And again, I don't know, but if he wasn't, and it sounds kind of like this is the truth, but I said it just seems like however he coaching, Caleb's not really receiving it. He's not understanding it, picking it up well. And again, not all people that know football are good coaches, because coaching is teaching. And so I was like, maybe his style just doesn't work with Caleb. And again, people want to go with narratives. Oh, he didn't coach a young guy and blah, blah. Sure, whatever, fine. Again, I'm more worried about football and what we actually know. We don't know what it was. But again, because of my experience, that's kind of what I was leaning towards. And it sounds like, at least so far, the way he describes Thomas Brown, it definitely seemed like a teaching style type thing. But either way, that philosophy isn't working. The way that we built the roster and everything is not working. I'm not talking about, oh my God, we didn't invest in the O-line. Yes, we did. A. B, I'm not talking about having good offensive line players. Like, yes, I don't think that's a thing that any GM doesn't know. Yes, you would love to have the 5 best offensive linemen in the league. It doesn't always go that way. So I'm not talking about that, but I just mean philosophically the type of football we want to play. I think it needs to change, and the roster needs to change with it. And so that's kind of one of the things that I came crystal clear on. Love Keenan Allen in his career and all that. Nothing against him. He's just at that point. And DJ Moore, same thing. Because same thing with Justin. Same thing happened to Caleb early on. It was like, okay, this isn't a route runner. This is a yak guy. So I have to force the ball to. No, first of all, he's my number one guy. He's getting paid now. Like, we got to get the ball in his hands, and blah, blah, blah. And it turns into a situation where I'm too focused on forcing it to this guy. And I don't think Caleb had it as bad because he had other weapons. But those narratives matter, man. I mean, Josh Allen told you as much. Like, having Diggs leave freed him up to play better, and we've seen that happen many times. So anyway, I just think that's crystal clear to me. I do think that we should move on from Eberflus. Yeah, let me bury the lead. But it's obviously not for any of the reasons that all these people are whining about. So for me, I think again, for Ryan Poles and Eberflus, and this is for any team, you want to have that synergy and understanding the type of players you want. Of course, everybody's on the offensive coach kick right now. You got to have an offensive head coach. No, you don't. That's dumb. But anyway, everybody's on that and what that coach should know about the offense and blah, blah, blah. Well, that coach needs to understand the whole team. And so the best teams every time are the ones where there's synergy in building the roster. Meaning that the head coach, typically it should be the head coach. Again, y'all know how I feel about that. The head coach should have a clear vision of every position. And as I continue to work through my playbook, or even if you were in the room as I'm working through stuff, you would know I have an idea of every single position and what I want. And the same thing as I was just talking about with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore not necessarily being a fit for what the type of offense Caleb should be running. You got to understand what you want to run and the type of player for each position. And listening to enough, seeing the moves we've made, all those different things, I think it's pretty clear to me that Ryan Poles is more the visionary, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but Eberflus seems more like I want this type of player more than I want this player. Like, you got to have a specific idea in mind for what you're going to do with that player, and that's how they get maximized. We talked about it for years. Cooper Kupp, the list goes on, the type of guys you get. Hell, even Kyle Hamilton. People rave about Kyle Hamilton, and to an extent Jalen Petrie out in Houston. People rave about them and blah, blah, blah. It's Madden talk. Oh, he's so good, so this. I watched Kyle Hamilton coming out. I watch the Ravens so much. Kyle Hamilton does a specific thing for that team. And guess what? He's great at it. Same thing for Jalen Petrie for the most part. Those players, a lot of times you have to pick them with a specific role in mind for what you want them to do. And I say this all the time. Only 1% of the players in the NFL can transcend the scheme. almost every players, 99% are scheme players. Is why I've been talking about this for years. I feel like a broken record, but like the number of times you see players go from one team to another and don't look the same, it's because of that reason. And so because of that, when you're building a team, you got to have synergy. The coach needs to know exactly what he wants out of the players, each position, not one side of the ball, the whole thing, or all three phases, really. And then the GM needs to agree with that, understand that, and be able to evaluate and scout it right. They need to be able to see players the same way. And again, this is something all anecdotal because I'm not in the room and I'm not going to make those big decisions. But from what I can see from my point of view, it seems that Eberflus isn't 100% dialed in. Now, part of that could be he doesn't have the power to make those decisions. I don't know. From what I understand from like people that are in the know, it seems Kevin Warren has the big hammer out of everybody. So I'm sure there's collaboration and whatnot, but that might be part of it. But again, Eberflus seems like the type of coach where he's just good at the I wouldn't say necessarily the details. I'm sure people gonna try to get mad at that, but he's kind of good at the ground level stuff, and which is why I made the comment about Kyler Gordon because people do all the time. You do it with Thomas Brown. You just did it yesterday. Oh, Caleb did this. Thomas Brown. See, Thomas Brown got him looking like a different player. But I can't say the same thing about Eberflus when Kyler Gordon has evolved so far from where he is. Now, that's a part that is one example that goes against exactly what I'm saying. But Kyler Gordon is kind of that guy, him and Brisker, where it was like that could have went totally wrong. Both of those picks could have went totally wrong. But having an idea of what you want out of that player. And I'm very sure that Eberflus probably has a better grip on what he wants on defense than offense. But as a head coach, as a team builder, you got to have an idea for the whole thing, as I was saying. And so I just think what's clear to me is Poles and Eberflus got to go. You got to get somebody with real, true vision. And so I cannot see a brand new head coach being the right move. I don't care what y'all going to say about Ben Johnson or anybody else, because you said it about Cliff Kingsbury when he came out. Probably not him, because he came out kind of shady. But y'all said about Shane Steichen. Everybody's ready to fire him. They said it about Sirianni. People have been trying to fire him for a long time. You said it about all these coaches that keep coming in and out, and you had your reasons. That's fine. But for me, I think looking at the team, I would go veteran. And you got to have somebody that really understands. And again, we're not in those rooms. We're never going to be in those rooms. But if it were me, I got to have an idea for your roster. I need to know specifically what type of players you like, or not like, but you want, and why. Does it match all philosophically? And then you need to show me through reports, scouting reports, through film, past examples. So when you say I want XYZ, show me that player that fits what you're talking about. Show me how you scouted them so that I know you even could see that player is that way. And so I just would like a more unified vision. And some of the, not all of them, but some of the concerns I had about Eberflus, I still have. Like I said from the beginning, I don't know that he's a head coach, more so than he might just be a good coach and good coordinator. And it seems that way. I think he's definitely did some good teaching with this defense. But as far as, and again, Hard Knocks gave me a better insight. I do think he's doing a lot of the things, but I just don't think it's a natural fit for him. And I think what's been clear is that, yes, we could talk about the OCs. And again, I don't know who had influence on those picks and whatnot. But even if we want to just hold that against him, sure. I mean, picking the offense, not really seeing offense and knowing it enough to get the type of philosophy in here that you want. And I'm not even sure the philosophy that Poles and Eberflus want fits Caleb. So for me, I think I've come to that realization for sure. But yeah, those are the two biggest things. I'm not jumping and screaming for Eberflus to go. Like, again, a lot of these conversations are silly. At the end of the day, you put your team in position to win over and over. That's all you could really ask for, man. Like, I don't know if people want to get blown out every week or what they want, but to sit, last week to cry about a blocked field goal, like, you got your team in field goal range, like excellent field goal range. That's the name of the game. And so I think people just need to understand that game flow is just part of it. It happens. Every game is different. And so again, football is football. And as long as you got guys that are making decisions in line with the situation and you're giving yourself a chance, then that's all I think you could really ask for. And with Eberflus, people just been so thirsty to try to get him fired that a lot of times they don't care that the decision he making wasn't an issue. They're just going to use the outcome against him, even if, again, it was somebody else. So there's a number of things from Sunday, like I mentioned, from special teams issues to Caleb's execution to receivers dropping the ball, penalties, defensive miscommunications and coverage, lack of pass rush, lack of blitz. There's a smorgasbord of issues, and honestly, that's every week for the most part. There's not going to be a ton of games in the NFL where there weren't multiple problems in multiple places. So I'm not jumping up and down fire Eberflus in the same manner that everybody else is, but I do think we need to have a more comprehensive and conscious plan going forward, because I expect Caleb to continue to grow, have his stumbles and everything else like any other quarterback. But I would like to see us have a real plan at the top. And, it can't be this separation of, hey, I do my thing as a GM, you do your thing as a coach. Now, I don't think Poles and Eberflus had a relationship. Even in person, when I was at the practices, they're together all the time. But I just don't think their philosophy on team building has really, I don't think it's as strong as it needs to be. And obviously there's a number of things that haven't panned out. So, I'm trying to think if anything else specific from yesterday. I mean, the only thing I can really say is, again, if y'all want to be fooled by the narratives, that's your thing. But for me, man, the film doesn't lie, bro. This and there's no disrespect to Thomas Brown. It's not to try to tear him down again. There might be things in the building that are different for sure. I'm positive of it. But the play calling tendencies, if I had the time and cared enough and I had the data to like really look at the tendencies, and I'm talking about the actual tendencies, I'm almost certain they are near identical. So you watch each play, and it's like the rhythm of the offense, everything is darn near identical. But what did I say? What did I tell you was going to happen? When the outcome is different, then everybody wants to everybody wants to change their tune, but it's not different. The routes aren't different. The motions, the formations aren't different. Like, honestly, like I said, outside of Caleb scrambling, he's not that different. And so, and then you got that one play to Keenan Allen that I said, I don't care that he completed that. I hate that decision. I hate it even more on film because he had a wide open DJ Moore. It was first down. They could have picked up, I wouldn't say as many yards, but they could have definitely picked up more than 10 yards and had a first down without risking that interception. Now, Caleb's arm velocity, you watch on film, saved a lot of plays. Again, there not a lot, but a number of key plays where the guys are not open. The route concepts aren't great, and Caleb's arm, being able to drive it, was able to get them out of that spot. So that's the only other thing I could really say. But at this point in the season, whatever, people believe what they want to believe, but the actual football of the matter, in terms of the tangible things we see on field, not a lot different. So that's it for me. Talk for a minute. So go down in the comment section, let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.